Good afternoon. My name is Mark Hubbs with Amatrol, and I'm really honored and grateful to have been invited to speak with you today, and specifically around challenges and strategies in teaching technology education amidst the pandemic, specifically myths to avoid about distance learning. So to begin, I'd like to just make a brief introduction about myself and the company. Then I'd like to discuss the challenges and strategies in technology education during our pandemic. So who am I? Again, my name is Mark Hubbs. I work for Amatrol. I'm a mechanical engineer by training, with experience in engineering field, everything from project engineering to engineering manager, program management, and now a sales director in the international market. Industry experience covers everything from pulp and paper, home appliances with GE appliances, automotive manufacturing as a tier 1 supplier in the automotive industry. Lastly, just a little bit about my experience in the international arena. I have lived abroad several places, obviously here in the US where I currently reside. But also in Central America, Mexico, and Germany for many years. So the company I work for is called Amatrol and has a family of companies, including DAC and Bayport. Amatrol is located here in Indiana, southern part of Indiana, about 5 hours south of Chicago, to give you an idea, with other manufacturing facilities with DAC just outside of Philadelphia, and Bayport just outside of Houston, Texas. So Amatrol, the parent company, initially began in 1965 as an industrial company. We were an automotive supplier, or excuse me, an automation manufacturer for a lot of the industry in the region. And over some period of time, 1981 officially is when Amatrol began, some 40 years ago. And the reason for the founding and the intent towards this mission was the realization that there is a real gap in the workforce from what was taught in education, what the real needs were. So now we're here in Indiana. We do all of our manufacturing here at this facility. Talking a little bit about the timeline, specifically and really relevant to this discussion, I wanted to point out here in 1997, we began computer-based training. So previously, we actually initially began as a hardware manufacturer. Then we realized the need for curriculum and learning materials that were tied to the hardware. So we did it initially in print format. And then in 1997, specifically, we started to migrate some of that print format to a more interactive computer-based training up until 2013, where we were basically providing all of our curriculum in an online environment, thus e-learning. As I mentioned, we do all of our manufacturing here as well as the development of the curriculum. And our experience over the 40 years Amatrol's been in existence, we're present and have installations in some nearly 60 countries around the world. So part of that experience and part of our key to our mission is relevance in education, and specifically technical education. So as a result, we find ourselves in collaboration and partnerships with companies you may recognize: Rockwell Automation, Fanuc Robotics as a few, and certification partners as well. MSSC outside of Washington, D.C. is a certification group, Manufacturing Skills Standards Council. And their purpose is to establish standards in the manufacturing space. SACA, S-A-C-A, Smart Automation Certification Alliance, is another third-party certification group around Industry 4.0. And we align our materials and our learning content towards the certification standards. So as I mentioned, we actually started 40 years ago making just hardware. Everything, just to give you a sample, some 300 different products, but everything from automation to basic mechanical, instrumentation and process control, all range of electrical systems, HVAC, refrigeration, and even supply chain logistics. And as I mentioned, part of the hardware and really the key to the technical program is the e-learning content, or excuse me, the curriculum that comes in the format of e-learning. It could also be computer-based content as well around those same technologies: automation, mechanical, instrumentation, process control, electrical, HVAC, and supply chain logistics. So with that, I'm going to stop this segment and we'll pick up with challenges and strategies in teaching technology education amidst this pandemic.